or put them on vibrate. TV viewing public, we welcome you too. The first order of business is we're going to have the invocation by Pastor Richard Peckham from the First Paul's Lutheran Church, and if you'll please stay standing so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards. Reverend?
Beautiful Savior, King of creation, Lord of the nations, in this month of July, our nation once again has celebrated its independence, and we give you thanks for the freedoms that we enjoy, and we thank you for those who made sacrifices to make that possible. We pray, Lord, that you would continue to provide for us leaders in our country who will maintain those freedoms for us. Give us leaders, give to those leaders wisdom to rule, to give us direction give them the wisdom to rule with compassion and in justice and righteousness. We pray from the top to the bottom, and we pray for the City Commission as it meets this evening. This is, Lord, the 5th anniversary month of the devastating flood that came to Coffeyville, and we thank you for the fact that so much of the community has been restored, and we would also pray, Lord, for a renewal and restoration of the same spirit of cooperation and serving one another as we experienced in those days before. All of these things, Lord, we bring to you in the name of our precious Savior, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Peckham.
Yes, sir.
Moving on, consent agenda items. Regular City Commission meeting minutes from June 26, 2012, and the 2012 appropriation ordinance number AO-12-12 in the amount of $1,065,207.58. Anybody have any questions?
If there are no questions, I move to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Motion was made by Commissioner Jones and seconded by Commissioner Horn to approve the consent agenda as presented. Mayor George.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Horn.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Regular agenda items. Public hearings, special presentations, and proclamations. And the first one will be a report from the Montgomery County Action Council.
Mayor and Commissioners, thank you. We appreciate you having us here this evening. We value the partnership and the collaboration that we have with the city, and we're looking forward to that continuing and working with the new city manager when he or she comes on board. Last September, our longtime administrative assistant, Marilyn Kerfis, retired. It was a transitional time that we decided that we should look at the structure and see if there's better ways that we could serve our stakeholders, both in the public and the private sector. We determined that the best way to do that would be to create a position that we refer to as the assistant director's position. And recently we've hired an assistant director, and that's Tricia Palmer. She's here this evening. Tricia and I have similar backgrounds. We've both worked for city governments. We have a master's degree in public administration. She has significant experience in grant writing and has run a nonprofit organization as well. Tricia and I will be working in tandem to serve our businesses and cities and provide them with more resources that are dedicated towards our primary mission. I think that the combination of our education experiences and skills provides us with tremendous capabilities and capacities to serve, and provides a great value to our cities and businesses at the cost of the city of of Coffeyville at less than a minimum wage employee. Our primary focuses this year are going to be in 3 areas. First is, and it always is our top priority, and that's the business retention and expansion. We always want to take care of the businesses that we have first, as well as our efforts to recruit businesses. Another one that we feel is really an important part of what we do, and that is workforce development and workforce recruitment. We have a jobs fair that I just wanted to pass out some information to you on. There's a jobs fair that we're going to be attending tomorrow in Wichita, and this is a collaborative effort with Coffeyville Chamber, the Independence Chamber, Kansas Works Office, and of course the Montgomery County Action Council. And we feel that there's a lot of quality jobs that are available and need to be filled in this community, and we want to match what our employers' needs are with the right skill sets. I've only got one copy of this, and but it is a list of the different types of jobs that are available right now: manufacturing, in labor, education, engineering, which is a huge, huge deal. We've got a lot of available positions in engineering, public safety, and technology. And this is the kind of information that we'll be talking to people about tomorrow. We want them to know that although they may live in Wichita now, that there are great opportunities in Montgomery County. Matter of fact, Montgomery County has more open positions, more vacant positions than any rural Kansas county. And I think that it's part of our job as we recruit businesses. In this case, we're recruiting employees. And we think that's part of that solution. Our third priority is to better define our mission to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our stakeholders. Tricia and I are planning on sitting down with businesses throughout the county as well as each of our cities, and through an interview format, survey them to find out more about their needs, their goals, their priorities, concerns, and opportunities that they may have. We will review the responses, and through that we're going to be developing a strategy that focuses in on the areas that they want us to. One of the, again, this is going to be an interview survey. This is kind of gives you a feel for some of the line of questioning that we're going to have for businesses. We're going to have one for business, then we're going to have a modified one for public sector entities as well. That's all I have. I had promised that I would keep my comments brief and concise since the All-Star game is on, and I've got my Royal shirt on today, and I wonder who's sitting in the legacy seat tonight, huh? I don't know, but I would certainly be more than glad to answer any questions that you have.
Question.
Yes.
Immediate successes. Can you name a few? Your immediate successes. Anything that you have, the hiring of the young lady is an immediate success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what else?
Really, what we've had is a lot of growth within our existing businesses, and we've been trying to line up job training and create awareness of the different programs and stuff. The governor's created some new programs related to income tax withholding, and we're trying to get that quantified so that we can get out and tell people about that. We've got a lot of interest in the Parmac building. That is a building that has been a lot of interest in, and it's a very unique building, and I think it has a lot of potential. We've got, I actually talked to somebody about another building here in town as well. And so recruitment-wise, we haven't had anything new. We've had maybe some businesses that we might have dodged them. I should rephrase that. We didn't get them, but I think that in review, it was probably a good idea, and I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Right.
And so those were the immediate successes, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Brad? I'd entertain a motion then.
Thank you.
Move to approve resolution number R-12-65 for adoption.
Second.
The motion was made by Commissioner Edwards and seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve resolution number R-12-65 for adoption, and that is a resolution to execute the 2012 MAC membership and services agreement. And the payment will be at the same as it has been, $15,680 a year.
All right, thank you very much.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Thanks.
Mayor George.
Aye.
Commissioner Horn.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate your work. And I know a lot of it goes behind the scenes, but I've seen you in action, and you do a good job. The third item of business, shop local presentation by the Coffeyville Area Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Coffeyville.
Good evening. Normally, I would say that I'm the one that gets to present because I'm the loudest, but given the two organizations that I'm here speaking for tonight, I think it would might be a tie. And so I think I won by default. So anyway, we're pretty excited about the Shop Local initiative. You have received that in your packets. We wanted you to be able to have an opportunity to look at that and think about it before we got here. The purpose is, and I think it was quite appropriate with Pastor Peckman's prayer tonight when he talked about collaboration and working together, and Downtown Coffeyville and the Chamber have been trying to figure out what can we do for our community to bring people here, to keep people here. The city just paid for a massive study. We know the leakage. We know that folks are not shopping local. We know that they're going across the border. So anything that we can do to help keep them here not only helps our city, but helps our members and our businesses that are here. We have businesses that want to grow. We want to help them be able to do that. So increased sales is a way for them to be able to do that. So the purpose of the program is to promote growth and development, address the leakage, boost our community pride, kind of educate folks again on what we have in Coffeyville. We have a lot in Coffeyville that folks don't see simply because, for instance, maybe the name of the store may not reflect what they actually carry. There's a great store downtown Coffeyville, Hair and More. It's not a hair shop. They sell clothing. So, but you don't know that just by the name. So unless you're actually getting out and walking the area, going into the stores, then you don't really think about that. We also want to demonstrate that we have a desire in Coffeyville to grow, so that when folks are looking at relocating to our area, they're going to be going, that's where I want to be, because they're moving ahead. They're not wanting to stay stale and stagnant. They're looking to the future. They're looking for a better place for me to raise my kids. So that's our goal as well, is to help bring people here. The phase of our program is pretty simple. We rolled it out to our boards first, got their approval, because it's about a $3,000 investment that the two organizations are making together. We're going to split that between the two groups. And then we wanted to present it to you as commissioners to try to get your support as well. The more people we can have backing this and supporting this and talking the talk and walking the walk, then the better the program's going to be. And then we're going to communicate the campaign to our members. The cool thing about this program is that you have to be a member of the Chamber or the Downtown Coffeyville to participate. So we think that's pretty cool because it's a benefit that we're giving to our members. So we want to be able to give back to them. We think this is a great program to do that. We're going to launch it to the public on August the 1st with radio ads, TV, well, we'd like to have TV, that's why we're here, to ask your permission to run on Channel 13. We have, in your packet, you found 8 reasons why to shop local. We'd like to promote those once a month. So for the next 8 months, folks are getting in their bags, in their faces, every time they shop, they get a little card from the participating merchants that tell them why they should be shopping. When they're looking at Channel 13, there's a little blurb that comes up and says, this is the reason number 1 that you shop local here in Coffeyville for this month. We want to put that in the paper. Everywhere we can get, the radio stations have said that they will partner with us. The papers are on board. So it's going to be a great thing. And then we want to figure out what's the next step for the next 6 months. Every 6 months we want to be introducing something new to the program. And already the ideas are coming in. We have several great ideas from some of our board members that have said, you know, we can try this or add this to the program. And we're looking forward to seeing how that would go. So,
Sounds exciting.
yeah. Did you like the logo?
Yes.
That was actually designed and developed by Caitlin Shepard, who is a student here at CCC. She's got a double major in graphic design and business. So,
Great.
yeah. Any questions for us?
No. Do you need approval for us from us?
We don't really need approval. We're running with it. We just wanted to make sure that you were on board.
Well, would you like our blessing?
I guess they're probably guessing why I'm the speaker now. But
Would you like our blessing to use our TV channel?
yes, we would love that. We do need that, yes. And your support and promotion of the program.
And yes, we can do that. It's not advertising individual businesses that shop local for the entire community, so that would be very appropriate.
Commission in agreement with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
We'll give you that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Yvonne. Do you want to say anything, Shelley?
It's so exciting.
All right. Item 4. I would like to introduce to the commission and everybody in the room and also to the public, our new police chief, Tony Celeste. Tony, if you'll come up. I'd like to swear you in.
Because I don't even know where my phone is.
See that camera right up there? We're going to look right towards that. You look towards that. The oath for the police chief. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge the duties for the city of Coffeyville, so help me God.
I do.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
We're very happy to have you here. This is not the real one, but Sheriff, there's your badge. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commissioners. I'll be very brief, but I'm very excited to be here. I'm very glad to be here. I'm very proud to be a partner and a member of this management team with this city. I think we've got just an outstanding management team, and they've placed a lot of trust and faith into me, and I'm certainly going to produce and show that. You're going to see great things come from the police department, and I look forward to working with each of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item of business, comments from the public.
Here, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
Hi, I'm Mary Wilson, and I want to tell you, our farmers market is really going great. We have had as many as 18 or 19 vendors out there at one time. We have a question for you. Where's the farmers market going to be during the fair week? There will be 2 Saturdays and 1 Tuesday that they'll be misplaced.
Now, Mary, you guys were the ones that wanted to move it out there. So where do you suggest you take it?
Some of them has suggested Fifth Street that came in but is closed off now. Somebody said something about up by the highway. I don't know.
Is this something that they would need to work with the chamber on, or?
Well, actually, we coordinated that with the farmer's market and the location. And the initial person that I spoke with, I did indicate to her that it would not be available during the fair. So she was very well aware of that and asked her to be thinking about some alternative locations.
We're talking about it. I want you to be aware of that.
Weeks?
Pardon?
2 weeks?
It'll be 2 Saturdays and 1 Tuesday. So, you know, that's 3, and I am securing a way that I can contact many of the vendors, because I don't want them to come up here with food and nowhere to park. We need to coordinate the effort.
What about the old building out on East 8th Street, the old Walmart, in that parking lot?
I don't know.
I just, something I was thinking of,
Yeah.
might be
And
something.
that could be a location which would be very near the
Right, because you got the signs, and we are having people stop at the farmer's market who have seen the signs, do not live here, but see them and come and buy. And that's really encouraging. The people are really happy with that location. I mean, it's really grown tremendously. If you haven't eaten a fresh tomato, you're missing a bit by not visiting out there. And that's what I wanted to bring to you tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll work with you, Mary, on getting a location.
Anybody else?
I'm Nancy Wright. I live at 405 Overlook. I'm one of those fortunate people that just got a ticket for parking in my yard. And first thing I did was I thought, how can I get a copy of this ordinance, because I want to see it. And the officer did not, he was a very pleasant gentleman. He didn't offer any comments about if there were any exceptions to the ordinance. So when I found the copy, I found out there are no exceptions except federal holidays. But I was interested in, while reading it, that I evidently this new ordinance replaces maybe some older one. It made reference in here to a ordinance G0601 is hereby repealed. And I said to the officer before I had read this, I said, you know, ignorance of the law is no excuse, so I'm not pleading that, although I did say I did not realize that the ordinance was being enforced. I said, I remember when it first came to light, and I don't remember what year that was in Coffeyville, but it upset people that I knew and that had gotten a ticket. Then when I read this, it says that, I guess I assumed, which is never a good thing to do, that the ordinance was not being enforced. Well, here's how you get educated. You do go to Channel 13 and you find out that it says officers are enforcing the ordinance. I have a couple of questions. Where does the $25 go that I paid? I have somewhere I'd like it to go. Does it go into a general fund? Does it just go into some petty cash thing? Is it, anybody know?
Goes in
or
the
care?
general fund.
Nobody cares but me. It's my $25.
It goes to the general fund.
Okay. Well, I recently was at a meeting in Independence about recycling. Martha Bond was there, and I said, well, Martha, I wonder if my $25 could go to a recycling program in Coffeyville. One thing I take exception to, and other than I would like to know if the ordinance that we now have that went into effect September 27th of 2011, and you repealed another one called the G0601. Was it the one where you were targeting, that's maybe not a good word, but looking at vehicles that were non-running junkers sitting in people's yards for days, weeks, and months, maybe years at a time?
That ordinance that you're, GO 601, the 01 signifies that that's from 2001.
Okay?
2006.
Oh, it's
06,
2006, it's the middle two numbers. And I know of at least 3 different times in the last 10 or 12 years, the city has made a concerted effort to, as you put it, target the junk vehicles or the inoperable vehicles, I think is probably the term the city staff would like for us to use.
Okay.
Once was in 2001, I think another time was in '06, and then I think last year we made another effort. And I'll grant you that we go through periods where these ordinances are more well enforced than others, and
The officer told me, he said, we are enforcing it. And he said, we do have better things to do. And I said, too bad he wasn't out doing it today.
you know, but the parking in the yard thing, that's been covered ad nauseum in the local papers for the last year. Do you get
My
any?
parking there on lunchtime for 45 minutes is a blight to the community. I have no tire tracks in my front yard, none. But I'm blighting the community. Granted, if I let it sit there for months and days and years at a time, it would be. But it's not.
Is that the only time you've ever parked in your front yard?
No, the incident, yeah, mostly, that's all I do, unless I have had company come and there's not enough places to park, and if you've ever looked at Overlook, well, there's no place to park except in a driveway or in a yard, because there's no room, there's ditches. But my question is, can my $25 go to a recycling program?
We don't currently have a recycling program that I'm aware of.
No, but are we not going to have one at some future time, perhaps?
The city has looked in the past at recycling programs, and it's something that I hope at some point we can do.
Doesn't have to be big, you start small.
Right. The problem with recycling programs is I don't know of very many cities in the entire country of any size that have been able to implement a recycling program that has been cost-effective or even been something that they don't lose a lot of money on. And
Well,
that's
it
what's
does-
probably held it
yeah.
up here.
Well, there is one. A man from the Public Works Department from Wellington, Kansas, was at this meeting in Independence, and
Okay.
they are making a profit, actually.
I'll definitely look into that. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, Wellington, Kansas, and they said they were a community of 8,000.
Yeah, they're comparable size to us.
I know at one time, Hayman's, years ago, we approved them, for their area, and he said at the time he was going to do recycling, household recycling. He said that here at a meeting.
I really came just to complain, because it really made me mad.
Is he taking,
Trash.
That I had to pay $25, and the day in question was, the officer told me, he said, I came by and the vehicle was parked in your yard, and it was not my vehicle. It was someone I told to park in my yard because we were going to be gone in my vehicle. So I said, just park in the yard, you won't have to worry about backing up. I have rather a long drive. This is a lady, she doesn't like to back up. So, long story short, he came by, it was there. He came back a few hours later, and I want to say it was 3 to 3.5 hours later, and I was there, and so was the car.
But you said it'd only been there 45 minutes.
I parked there for 45 minutes on my lunchtime,
Yeah.
but not since I got a $25 ticket, because according to this, if I get caught again, it's going to be $50.
Ma'am, a year
And then
ago,
after that, it's going to go up.
a year ago, it was $100 on the first offense plus court costs. We knocked it down last year.
And do you need any help enforcing this?
Well, we have a new police chief, and I'm sure he's going to be more than happy to do a better job of enforcing it evenly throughout the town. That's one thing that we plan to talk with him about.
So, okay,
it's an ordinance.
I'm not happy, but anyway, I got to say my thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
Anybody else? Okay. Moving on, old business. Resolution number R-12-58, a resolution to execute a lease agreement with the City of Coffeyville Board of Trustees of the Coffeyville Regional Medical Center. Attorney Paul Kreitz will make comments.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This is the second attempt to try to continue the arrangement with the hospital with the lease agreement that has been revised to provide for a 5-year term with 2 additional 5-year terms if the city and the hospital choose to roll it over. Again, it could be terminated by either party upon 180 days notice, so it's really a 6-month lease. We also took out references to many exhibits which were obsolete, so we've kind of cut it down to its bare essentials, and it's ready for your consideration.
Anybody have any questions?
Move to approve resolution number R-12-58 for adoption.
Second?
The motion was made by Commissioner Edwards and seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve resolution number R-12-58 for adoption. Mayor George.
Aye.
Commissioner Horn.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Item number 2, under old business, ordinance number S-12-06, second reading of an ordinance to rezone property at 805 MacArthur from single-family residential R1 to business district C1. Intern City Manager Cindy Price will make comments.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the second reading. Dennis Jacobs is unable to be here tonight, so I told him I would present this. He let me know that the Planning Department has not received any correspondence or communications on this since the last meeting. He did believe that the Claybrooks, who are planning to put the tea room in, may want to speak about the parking plans tonight.
Okay.
Jed Claybrook, 1405 Feaster Drive. As you can see from the diagram, there will be parking for 11 vehicles, ours included, and the plan for parking in the south side of the yard is to skim the grass in that area, then cover it with 2.5 or 3 to 0 gravel, then spray it with a sealer. Now, at the Planning and Zoning meeting earlier this year, Mr. Carter, a neighbor, was concerned with increased traffic. I can only estimate, but probably if we are blessed, 12 to 15 more vehicles a day would be down that street, and it is a city street. He also pointed out that his mother was almost hit by a car, as you noticed last meeting, that it is a narrow street. She fell into the ditch getting her mail. There is mailboxes on the market that open front and back, so she could get it from the house side and not even have to get into the street. Now, we plan to be open only 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday, and if in the future we would sell, it would be as a tea room business, or it's my understanding the property could revert back to residential quite easily. Thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Claybrook, are you going to take out any of the trees, or are you just going to skim that along that alleyway for parking?
Well, it's 20 feet deep. The big trees will stay. There's one red bud that'll have to come out.
Okay. And there won't be any parking on the street?
No, ma'am. We already have purchase signs that say no parking.
You are aware that the city planner and engineer has to approve your parking?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was going through the Tagglers and letting him find out about the sealant.
Any other questions? We'll entertain a motion.
So moved to approve ordinance number S-12-06 for adoption.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Horn and seconded by Mayor George to approve ordinance number S-12-06 for adoption. Commissioner Horn.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Mayor George.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Moving on to new business. Resolution number R-12-66, a resolution to award a construction contract to Mueller Construction for improvements to the intersection of First and Central. Engineering Superintendent Scott Massman will make comments.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. For your consideration is a contract for the construction of the intersection of Central and First Street. The intersection has been in disarray for some time. What's going to replace that is going to be a 10-inch concrete intersection with 6 inches of base rock below that. You have the numbers for what the job's going to take in your packet, and I would like to tell you that this particular project is going to be paid for through the 1.5 cent sales tax that's been collected for residential street improvements. We are taking that money, and 70% of that money will be for preservation and 30% for repair and replacement. The First and Central intersection is the first of 7 intersections we plan to do this summer. This intersection will be widened, which required the purchase of a perpetual right-of-way on the northeast corner. We surveyed that out and was able to get that land purchased so we could proceed with this intersection. Be glad to answer any questions on this subject.
I don't have any questions. Does anyone else? If not, I so move to approve resolution number R-12-66 for adoption.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Horn and seconded by Mayor George to approve resolution number R-12-66 for adoption. Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Mayor George?
Aye.
Commissioner Horn?
Aye.
Item number 2, resolution R-12-67, a resolution to purchase a perpetual right-of-way or public road improvements at the intersection of First and Central.
And this relates to what we just talked about. The land was necessary to construct the new radiuses.
I'll move to approve resolution R-12-66 for adoption.
Second?
Motion was made by Mayor George and seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve resolution number R-12-66 for adoption. Mayor George?
Aye.
Commissioner Horn?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye. Item 3, resolution number R-12-68, a resolution to authorize the final change order, number 1, to Mission Construction for the Edgewood Driveway Street Improvement Project.
Thank you again, Mayor. In February of this year, the City of Coffeyville awarded Mission Construction a contract for the reconstruction of Edgewood Drive. And this particular segment is located north and south of Northfield Avenue in Klein's Westwood Addition. That road had deteriorated very badly, and we replaced that with 5 inches of concrete and a 6-inch base of AB3. The total contract amount as bid was $178,754.25. During the process of rebuilding the street, certain areas of curb and gutter were deemed unsuitable and were replaced as needed. That was primarily the reason for the additional money in this change order. There were some other items that were also needed. The additional amount is $9,688.63, and that reflects the new project cost. We're very pleased with this particular contractor, and we hope we can work with him again. He was there every day and did a superb job. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Scott, just a question. Why are we finally getting this? If it's a 45-day project, we let it in February, we're into July.
He was well under the let time. We let it, I can't remember when we did, but he was well under the time allotted from the word, to go. I believe so. I just know he was in the slot.
There was a delay before we issued
Okay, all right.
that contract.
And all these funds, by the way, are going to be paid by the Senate Bill 417.
Move to approve resolution number R-12-68 for adoption.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Horn and seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve resolution number R-12-68 for adoption. Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor George.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Horn.
Aye.
Thank you, Scott. Item number 4, discussion on annexation of city-owned property. Interim manager, Cindy Price, will make comments.
Mayor and Commissioners, I did pass this out, the map that is at your seat. This has been something that we've talked about doing for a number of months. And Chuck, will you give one of those to Andy? He doesn't have one for the media. The map, what we're talking about is city-owned property that's outside the city limits. There are no residents that live on these properties. It is all owned by the city. The map has them marked. It also has a key which would point out what each one of them entails. There's 21 numbers on here, and the number 1 has, I think, 7 different tracks in it to make up the area around the airport. So the first area is out in the industrial park, and it does include the airport, the National Guard Armory, and then a lot of that area is also farm ground. The second area is the wastewater pump station, which is in the industrial park. The third area, and also the fifth, is a rail spur and a utility easement. The fourth is the electric substation, which is out by Southwire. The fifth is another rail spur and utility easement. And the 6th through the 11th tracks are Sunflower utility easement. It's an easement down Sunflower Street. Number 12, moving closer in to town, is the tree dump. And number 13, which is just south of that, is it's a capped landfill. Number 12 also includes the C&D landfill. Number 14 is the Penn Street lift station. 15 is Exner Park. The north, there's 3 ball fields out there. The north ball field is not in the city limits, and also that area just north of there, we own that area also. Number 16 is the northeast corner at Woodland and Buckeye, and that's about 3.5 acres. 17 is 8th Street and County Road 5300, so that's out east of town. And that's the northeast corner of that intersection, and that's approximately 2.5 acres. 18 is Southern Hills Tower. That's where our wireless internet tower is located. Number 19 is down on County Road 1400. That's where the animal shelter and the wastewater treatment plant area. The former wastewater treatment plant, that's also the sludge area that's currently in use. And then across from that is the wastewater treatment plant. And finally, number 21 is 1876 County Road 5300, and that's the property that was recently purchased out north of the new Walmart. Staff has looked at this. We would recommend that all of these, with the exception of the rail spur and the utility easements, there really is no need to annex a rail spur and a utility easement. So that would be 3 and 5, plus the Sunflower utility easement. So 3, 5, 6, and 11 would be staff recommendation that those not be included in the annexation. And Paul can go over what the process is to annex city-owned property, and then we'll take any questions or have any discussion that you have on that.
The process is actually pretty simple. You just adopt an ordinance, pass an ordinance. Since it's city-owned land, we don't have to go through all of the notification processes or get permission from the county commissioners. We just consider an ordinance. Upon second reading, it becomes effective. We record that with the Register of Deeds, and it's annexed.
Greg? Anybody have any questions about this?
Was there any more property for consideration?
We went through everything that we had and wanted to get everything on here.
I think it's a good idea.
I would like to, and not now, but later on, Scott, I'd like to see a blow-up like at the airport, exactly what we own out there and what it takes in.
I've got a map already made.
I have detailed information on each one of these, if you need to
It's
see that.
not, the other really doesn't concern me, it was just the airport. I'd really like to see how our lines are, what property, because this is sort of small for the airport and it's hard to see where it's at. And you can just email it to me.
Okay, because I've got it
Just something to look
right
at.
here that has the tracks, and then I've got, that's the one that has 7 separate tracks, and we've got the map of each of the separate tracks, because we need the legal descriptions in order to get this into the ordinance.
I'd like a copy of that, too.
Okay.
So do we need to do a resolution or anything tonight? or
No,
just-
this was just for discussion,
Okay.
so that we can work on the ordinance and know which parcels to include.
I would go along with staff recommendations about deleting 3, 5, 6 through 11. I
Okay.
don't see any reason for them to be in there.
We will get that prepared and bring that back to you at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you for all the work you guys did. Appreciate it. Next item, comments from the commission and staff. Well,
I
staff
have
first.
a couple here. We had a request from the organizers of the 100-mile highway sale. This will be the 5th year that this has taken place. The dates are September 7th through 8th. And it literally is 100 miles of rummage sales. And they really work to try to get as many out on the highway, but they encourage citywide garage sales during that time. What they are requesting and what we have done in the past is waive the garage sale permit, which is $3. Anybody that participates with the 100-mile sale in Coffeyville will coordinate that with the Chamber of Commerce. They'll put together a map and get that information out. Do I hear an agreement to waive the fee on that?
Yes.
Yes.
We will let them know, and you'll probably start hearing more about that sale. Hmm? No. No, because Stephanie asked if they'd still be required to get a permit, and there won't be because they'll be registering down at the Chamber of Commerce, so that way they won't have to do it twice. We do have a vacancy on the commission. Applications are due Friday, July the 13th, this Friday at noon. And then planning a special meeting next Tuesday for interviews. So I'll send out reminder
So come
about
Friday,
that.
you will email us all of the
Yes.
applications? Okay, thank you.
We only
12:05.
have one so far?
No, there are 3.
Okay.
There are 3 applications. And we received a notice today from the Kansas Water Office. It's short, and I will read that. Actually, we received it a day or so ago. And this was sent to Chuck Shively. And it says that the governor has now declared every county in the state to be in some stage of drought emergency, warning, or watch. Elk City Reservoir and its watershed are located in counties that are in watch status. Reservoir storage is currently in good shape. However, with the county declarations and the forecast for continued hot and dry conditions, the Kansas Water Office is continuing the drought watch for water marketing customers from Elk City Reservoir. your conservation plan water watch stage should be in effect. Chuck included with that, we do have a water conservation plan that's been adopted, and he put a copy of that. And when we are in a water watch, the goals are to heighten awareness of the public on water conditions and to maintain the integrity of the water supply system. And actions that that we should be taking. The city will make occasional news releases to the local media as necessary, and the city will monitor its use of water and will curtail activities such as hydrant flushing and street cleaning. The public will be asked to curtail some outdoor water use and to make efficient use of indoor water. For example, wash full loads, take short showers, and don't let the faucets drip.
Have we been notified from the state about the flow in the Vertigus River?
Well, this notification involved that, are you talking about how low the flow is?
Yes.
They have water stored in Elk City. When necessary, they will release. Typically, what happens is Coffeyville Resources, since they're at the bottom of the line, will notice it first, and they will call the Kansas Water, ask for more water.
But we still have natural flow at
We
this?
still have natural flow.
Okay.
Are we under a burning ban that you know of? Okay.
Will we be soon? I know a lot of places south of us are starting to implement burn bans,
There's some counties in Kansas that have initiated burn ban.
but we're not to that point yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Is that it for staff?
That's all that I have.
Commissioners?
I don't
Got
have
anything?
I would be interested to have our Public Service Department call over to Wellington and ask them about their recycling program, because that is a topic that I've researched off and on over the last few years. And if they've found a way to do it, it's not a draw on the budget, I would be interested to know how they're doing it, because I think at some point we need to start a program like that.
The company that we currently have our trash with does have in other communities, and they've given us a little information about that to look at for when we put our trash out for bid.
I know some towns have another bin for glass or whatever, and you put it out on a certain day. It does cost, but
I did have something. I do have something,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Driving through downtown, and I frequent downtown. I like downtown. It's nostalgic. Hope it grows more. But I'm looking at all the cable spools and all of this, starting to look like a junkyard right there behind Cox.
oh, yes, that is bad.
And that's a corridor right there. That's a corridor entrance. And I think it should be disguised with a fence, privacy with slats in it or something like that, because they have, and I'm grateful for the fleet of trucks, looks good and all of that, but it's looking like junky.
We'll have code enforcement take a look at that.
Anybody else? I have a couple of items. If you remember correctly, we signed cards here a couple months ago.
Yes?
Thank you cards. I would like to make sure that we start sending those. The new veterinary clinics for one. I don't know if we sent that yet, but
No.
anytime the chamber has ribbon cutting or anything else, we need to,
And they went through a period where there weren't any, and
Right.
that's what I was using.
I just want to make sure we brought it up again and make sure we're still doing it. The other thing I'd like to bring up, to keep all this process moving going into budget hearings, I would like to make sure that we have an iPad ready for the next commissioner when we start the work If Richard wants to give his back, that's great, but if he doesn't, we need one here. So when we go into work sessions, they can have the budget on this, not the books. Okay.
That's a lot of paper to save.
Yeah, a book that big. That's the only things I have. Anybody else? Okay.
This iPad thing works great.
It saves us a lot of paper.
Oh,
Works
yeah.
great.
It's just like, you know, when Scott or the guys back there in the public service, whenever they do their maps and stuff on here, I mean, I really love looking at that, because I can see the drawings real clear. I can blow them up, where if it's on a piece of paper, I can't blow it up and look at it. I guess I'm getting old, my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. But yes, I really like them. I think the next thing is then we need to go in executive session to talk about the acquisition of real estate.
And non-elected personnel.
Yeah, and non-elected personnel. I need a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So move.
And let's say it's going to take 60 minutes. Is that about correct?
About 9.
5-minute break.
Yeah, with a 5-minute break, so we will return at 9:25, 9:30? Does that sound about right?
No, because that's 2 hours. Do you want,
Okay.
do you, put those glasses on there.
Your iPad has a
Do you want 2 separate ones? Because I do have staff planning to
Yes.
attend the acquisition of real estate, and I know Commissioner Edwards had
Yeah,
asked.
so let's do the non-elected first and get that over with, because that shouldn't take very long, and then we can have staff in there to go over the rest of it.
Okay, and you were requesting that Chief Celeste
Yes.
sit in on the non-elected personnel?
Yes, please.
How long do you anticipate that one?
15 minutes.
Okay, 15 minutes.
On the yeah, who else do you want on non-elected?
You three is fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
we definitely need
So
to.
15 minutes, and then we want Jim and Chuck and James for the acquisition of real
Acquisition of real
estate.
estate.
Still want a 5-minute break, correct?
Yep.
Before, okay. Move to adjourn to executive session for the discussion of non-elected personnel, to include Tony Celeste, and to reconvene on or before 7:45.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.